Hello my friends and enemies, hope you're as good as can be in these dark times. Just a quick update on the Green Slime Accord unlawful eviction, as I have just received another letter that has gutted me, but not for the reason you may think. Now keep in mind, Green Slime Accord should have filed the eviction papers on the 28th of July with the county court. But if you have watched the previous video with the gas engineer, I escaped their slimy trap and Green Slime Accord failed to achieve ground 12 of the writ of possession. So allow me to show you Green Slime Accord's fresh tactics for evicting and silencing me. Whoever is in charge of making my life a misery apart from Ruth Cook needs sacking. They're shit at it. The point of implementing a con in the first place is that the mark is unaware of the con until it's too late. So I have been eagerly awaiting court documents to arrive, especially after the evidence I have gathered from the previous video. What I get instead, after all the threats, intimidation and bullying, a letter that I can only partially show you, as it's going to be submitted as evidence, but I can tell you about. A letter not with a court date, but an offer to set up a repayment plan. I was completely gutted. My defense for grounds 10 and 11 of the eviction are already prepared, barring a few amendments. And the first thing I was doing is seeking permission of the court to file contempt of court charges against Green Slime Accord, who, according to the letter I recently received, I shall say that subjective word again that I always find amusing when it appears as a threat, set up a repayment plan, or we may be seeking possession. What do mean may? Get your expensive solicitors to file the paperwork already. Even Yoda knows do or do not. There is no try. I have mocked their stolen Star Wars Mandalorian "This is the way" slogan, refused to pay the unlawful service charges, challenged them, dared them, and even called out their glorious leader Ruth Cook, who has an Oxford law degree, for a legal battle 1v1 in court. And still the GSA way may only be seeking eviction. But last week it was eviction week. This week is repayment plan week. I wonder why. Maybe because I would be the first person in the country to be evicted for non-payment of service charges, as the rent has always been paid. Just not these abuses of service charges. No, sorry. The GSA way is calling it other charges. This week, I believe. Here's the fresh tactics for grounds 10-11 of the writ of possession. I have not paid the rent. Green Slime Accord has to convince the judge to ignore the post office rent payments on screen, which have been paid twice since then. Then convince the judge to ignore the fact that Green Slime Accord have been charging for services they do not provide or maintain to a reasonable standard, and are further misleading the court by changing the words "service charge" to the misleading, deceptive wording "other charges" instead of service charges, to hide the service charge abuse at this complex. Which is an easy fix in court. Ruth Cook with a couple questions. Do these other charges involve services that Green Slime Accord are responsible for as a landlord under the 1985 Landlord and Tenants Act? Then please demonstrate to the court the evidence how Green Slime Accord has performed and maintained those duties, whilst profiting from tenants at this complex as a not-for-profit charity for those duties you charge all tenants here for. I have studied a lot of judges, both civil and criminal, in the UK, USA and around the world, some lenient, some not, some fair, some not so fair, but I can say I have never come across a stupid one, and the GSA way whole eviction case is based on misleading the court and trying to mislead the judge, which is a big no-no, even for Green Slime Accord's expensive solicitors. More lies to ignore the fact that I have had a broken boiler for 8 weeks now and no hot water except for the kettle. If you have seen the previous video, the GSA gas engineer, please point out the part that when informed of my broken boiler, he inspected it without entering the property. The GSA way follows the teaching of the Mandalorians, so maybe they sent a Jedi this time. Yet somehow team leader Paul O'Driscoll, I get a team leader because I am special, you see. I get the lying team leader that gives me a gas certificate stating all good, but no mention of the boiler playing dumb and being able to claim my boiler is working because it was inspected using the Force. Apparently, knowing that I am just ignored, and the only communication I am allowed to receive only and not transmit is threats, intimidation, misdirection, or lies. Some photos taken the 1st of August 2025 of the other charges the GSA way charges for are no way related to service charges. In fact, strike those words from the record. This is what you're greeted with when you open your door. And no, I did not open the fridge door, as the GSA cameras will show. Good to see the mysterious housing officer and caretaker are doing their jobs. The GSA way standard of workmanship. 3 bags full left over and wasted, neglected so long that nature has taken root. Broken walls and constant rubbish. More than likely the brick taken from the broken wall, still there, that smashed the window in the first place, or ready to be smashed again with little effort. Anyone can wander into this complex. There is no gate or intercom security, and has not been for years, but the GSA way is still making a profit from this. And last, but by no means least, even the Bushes have had enough of the GSA way and are leaning to the far right. Be safe wherever you may be. Oh yes, and your repayment plan green slime accord. Consider this, people. If you had to redo, refit, rewrite, rewire or retry, what would that suggest you have already done? So get on with your court action, Ruth Cook. Let's see if you can get me to reimburse you for your unlawful service/other charges. Be safe wherever you may be. Have a good weekend and thank you for watching.